Now, welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to be reviewing the new Venom 2 movie, Let There Be Carnage. I think we're going to do a spoiler-free review, and then we'll get to a spoiler review of it. But we'll probably, let's briefly start with recapping what we felt about the first Venom movie.
First Venom movie. I really liked the first Venom movie, which I'm just going to stop calling the first Venom movie and just call Venom.
It was a surprise. What's so strange about that movie is, it's not a good movie in terms of like pretty much anything, yet it's highly enjoyable. I think mainly due to Tom Hardy, who is Eddie Brock in the movie, of course, and the Venom relationship. It just works.
It works well.
Yeah, and
that
everything
dynamic
else
was beautiful.
Everything else about the movie is just really silly and kind of outlandish and crazy, but that relationship works so well you kind of just go along with the flow.
Right, their dialogue together, their on-screen chemistry should have been up for awards.
Yeah, and what's strange about that is it's supposed to be in the Spider-Verse kind of thing here, and yet nothing to do with Spider-Man. And it's so strange that you can have an origin story for Venom and not include Spider-Man and have it work.
Right, it was unique in that sense. I like that Sony tried to make their own name for Venom.
I think they wanted to capitalize off the idea of Spider. Didn't they originally, with the Amazing Spider-Man, have the idea of making villain movies? So I think they're just carrying that over.
And it's not a bad concept. Getting to know your villains is Spider-Man's villains are iconic in comic book history.
Of course, almost as iconic as the heroes who fight them. I think, if not
Exactly.
more so in some cases.
As long as they don't turn all of the villains into sympathetic villains.
Well, yeah, I mean, Venom is not really a villain per se.
No, not really.
Not in this movie, anyway. And recently in the comics, he's not always a villain either. Okay, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. Probably not quite as much as the first one, but it did capitalize on some things that the first one did really well, so I appreciated that.
Okay, and this will be the spoiler-free talk. When we get to spoilers, we'll make it very clear. We'll mention it, put something on screen, and so forth. I agree. It was good. Mm-hmm. Not as good as that first one, and I think it has this problem where when something works really well unexpectedly, you really try to capitalize off of it in a sequel. The example I always like to give is Pirates of the Caribbean, where the first movie, it really isn't about, Captain Jack Sparrow. Everybody loves him, so what do they do after that? He almost becomes a caricature of that character.
Oh, yeah.
Where they go so far into it. That didn't exactly happen here, but this was really about Eddie Brock and Venom in this movie.
Which is kind of nice in a sense. The first movie was about the two of them, but not in the way that this one is.
No, this one really focused on their relationship in this one. And not in any kind of weird way.
You had to put it that way.
I had to put it that way. I mean, it sounds strange when you say it, but no. I mean, it almost felt like everything else in the movie kind of took a back seat, which isn't necessarily bad. It kind of retains that same kind of goofiness and over-the-top factor that the first one does. Mm-hmm. I think we kind of could have focused a little bit more on the other stuff. The villain, who is, of course, Carnage, and there was another villain in this. We won't really mention in the non-spoiler because it could be a surprise to people.
Right. One thing that worked for and against it was the runtime.
It's so strange that I'm so used to when you get to the end of a movie, you're kind of expecting, well, this isn't going to be the end. There's going to be another fight, or it's going to carry on. In the last two Venom movies, you get to the end and then it ends, which is refreshing and strange at the same time.
I mean, with an hour and a half runtime, how much time can you put in there for the extra character development? The things that you thought may have been a little bit lacking from this. It's the runtime. Yeah,
and it's strange that not strange. It works for this movie and the first Venom movie, but it's unusual in the superhero genre that they have such a short runtime. I can't think of any other superhero movie as of late that's been only an hour and a half or 90 minutes.
But it's nice in the fact that there's no wasted time either.
No.
The movie just keeps moving the whole time. It doesn't have that point where it's just like, okay, now we're going to stop and wait for 20 minutes while you do this or that. It just keeps moving and keeps flowing. So the pace never really drops too badly.
Yeah, a lot of times in superhero movies, that second act you get a big lull. These Venom movies just do not do that.
No,
they just keep going, and
they
they're
don't
crazy.
Have time for that.
No, they don't. They're crazy and they're fun, and Eddie Brock and Venom work really well together. But anyway, shall we move into spoiler talk?
All right, we're going to move into spoiler territory.
Red alert. Red alert. So if you don't,
you gotta play the Death Star noise.
yeah, the yes,
that's a horrible. Sorry.
That was pretty bad, but I'm sure they all appreciate it. But so if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want anything spoiled, click away from the video now. Come back later.
Can we start off the spoilers with the end?
I think that was probably the only real spoiler to talk about. Oddly enough, I mean, I don't know what else in the movie would really be a spoiler. The movie is pretty much what you expect it to be. Yeah,
I thought Woody Harrelson was really good.
Yeah, what isn't Woody Harrelson good in though? He plays the perfect serial killer. Which, no offense to Woody Harrelson, but he fills this role nicely.
I was a little disappointed in Shriek because the moment I saw her on screen, I'm like edging you in the theater, and I'm like, she's important.
Well,
the foil of the whole movie, right there.
Yeah, because of her power. I mean, she has the screeching power, which the
screaming.
sonic power, which the symbiotes are weak against.
I did absolutely love that they used the bell at the church. It reminded me, and maybe it was meant to remind me.
I think I know where you're going. I think it's
of
meant
the
to.
original Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One of the first ways he managed to rid himself of Venom is Spider-Man stood by the ringing church bell.
Yeah, I think was supposed to be a nod to that as well. Yeah,
it was nice. I mean, wrong character, but it was really nice.
Well, yeah, but I think they're trying to give a nod to this. Well, I mean, they really try to give a nod to the Spider-Verse at the end, but yeah.
Not to mention, how many people did Venom kill during this movie?
That was a little strange.
They were just like, yeah, he can't do it when he's with him. He's going to follow the rules. But as soon as he gets out there, he's like possessing people.
And letting them die.
Them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was kind of strange. They just kind of glossed. Don't think about the fact that Venom was running around for a couple days or whatever it was, and just kind of eating people from the inside out and letting them die. I mean, that was really strange.
There were definitely a few dead bodies that Venom left in his wake.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. It just, you're trying to build him up to be the hero, and, Eddie's got his... I guess it's trying to show him being rebellious somehow, and that he doesn't...
he can't help himself.
Well, I know he can't help himself. It was just strange that they went there. I was actually surprised by that, because you're kind of he's trying to be the hero, and trying to be, what think of the Lethal Protectors, which was very 80s. That was... Yeah. So it was strange that you had our hero kind of, inadvertently killing people.
Yeah. I did kind of like... I liked that we saw a lot more of Venom's character.
Yeah, that's
what
the
he
highlight.
Was like on his own.
Well, that's what the movie... I mean, again, that's what the movies have been... Both of them have been about, Venom and Eddie Brock and their relationship. The other stuff is kind of, there to serve them and to give them something to do and talk about, really.
Yeah, and to see that they were a true symbiotic relationship, unlike... Carnage and Cletus. Because they kind of seem to be a symbiotic relationship at the first. They had the same goals, but Carnage was ultimately using him.
Yeah,
and he ultimately was using Carnage. They weren't a match. They
weren't a team. Yeah, well, they were. Yeah. That was why they were. I mean, that's even what the movie tells you, why they were defeated in the end. We are Venom versus these two who have their own kind of...
who are just looking out to use each other.
Exactly.
Right. And it was nice because that put a nice little cherry at the end for them to realize once again that they are a symbiotic match. They are a pair, and not two separate beings using each other.
No, only when he's in other people is he doing that.
True.
Which we got to see again.
Uses them as a free ride. It's his Uber.
Oh God, Uber Eats is more like it.
It is.
Oh goodness.
Oh, I wish you could make a little thumbnail with Venom, with an Uber Eats hat on or something.
No,
you won't. No one will get it.
No, well they'll get it. Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll talk about the post-credit scene a little bit because again, there's really not much to spoil about the movie. It's exactly what you expect it to be all the way up until the end, when we see that Venom is going to show him a glimpse of the knowledge of the universe or something. This is the post-credit scene, of course.
The collection of knowledge that the symbiotes have collected throughout the galaxy for thousands of years.
And and then they shift into the MCU's.
Possibly.
I mean, that's what it has to be, right?
Well,
or it could be another version of the MCU that is.
Yeah. My guess, when you saw, Tom Holland on the TV, you saw J. Jonah Jameson's announcement, that could even be the moment that Doctor Strange is, messing with. How old was the news broadcast? Are they still rebroadcasting it?
True.
Is this a new call to arms against that villainous Spider-Man?
Yeah, J. Jonah is going to be every day. He's going to be out there calling the call to arms.
But clearly this puts Venom
in the MCU
into our Tom Holland Spider-Man's path.
Well, yeah, there's already the rumors about Andrew Garfield being in the new Spider-Verse movie, which is or No Way Home. It's not the Spider-Verse movie, but it will be. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Even though I don't think Venom is in the Garfield universe. Who knows what Sony's doing with it? But
no, but Tobey Maguire would know Venom.
Yeah, he would.
Oh God,
this could be really
cue the emo dance.
Spider-Man 3 didn't happen. That was a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Tell that to the memes.
True.
True.
All right. Well, I mean, do you think this will have any impact at all on No Way Home, or do you think this is just kind of a spoil? I don't think it will. I don't think we're going to see Venom in there at all. It's interesting.
But how cool would it be?
Hey, I'm not against the idea.
I want to know what Venom's plan was. Why did Venom instantly get excited to see Tom Holland's face and lick the screen?
Well, I mean, the
TV's been on for 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I think that's just an Easter egg that he's recognizing his, nemesis from another dimension or reality. Who knows? Who knows?
I want to know. I want it out now. I won't have to wait till December to see if Venom's going to pop up in that movie.
I don't think he is, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little glimpse of him or a little nod to the existence. I wouldn't be surprised if we know that Sony and Marvel did this deal to, let Spider-Man come back to the MCU for another movie. So this could be the MCU's way of kind of reciprocating and saying, hey, we're going to lend credence to your movies and kind of link them to the MCU. So, because that's going to draw even more audience to these movies.
And he's never going to get Anne back if he's not in the right universe.
Well, he could get this universe's Anne.
I'm so excited. Just that Easter egg, it might come to nothing, but the possibilities of what it could come to are what interests me.
I mean, it could, bear out more for the next Venom movie because there's, as long as this one does well, which I'm assuming it will, there's going to be another Venom movie.
I want him to show up in the next Spider-Man movie.
We already have the Morbius. I don't even know when that comes out.
Right.
I think it was supposed to be out last August or something, but of course
it's still in the works. I had a date written down somewhere for it.
Yeah. So I mean, for all we know, that'll play into that. We have no idea what they're doing with the Spider-Verse thing.
Well, and you said that in the Morbius movie is supposed to be Vulture.
Yeah, well, we see a glimpse of him in the trailer, if I'm remembering right. It's so long ago now, but as soon as I saw the end credit scene, that immediately, or mid credit scene, that popped into my head. That didn't we have, him?
So maybe they have a great deal.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was in that trailer or something like that. Yeah, he's at the end of the trailer, isn't he?
So what kind of deal do you think Sony and Marvel have worked out?
I think it's going to be. I think Sony's going to maybe take the helm of the Spider-Verse.
I don't know. Let's see. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, they can imply that this is all in the multiverse.
It's all a multiverse.
This is all in the MCU. Who knows? At the end of this, Spider-Man could no longer be in our universe anymore, which would make me incredibly sad. But he could end up in the universe with the others, which is cool. But at the same time, Venom is supposed to be the hero in that universe.
Yeah.
I pretty much assumed he was taking the Spider-Man role, and he was going to be the one battling the new villains. Though I don't want Morbius to become a sympathetic... Well, he is a sympathetic villain. Who are we kidding? His whole story, what he turned into is sympathetic. But I want there to be hardcore villains.
Well, wouldn't it be interesting if the Spider-Man of the Venomverse turns out to be the villain?
It would be interesting. I mean, we don't even have a Spider-Man in the Venomverse.
Not that we know of.
Of course, Venom's not even in the Venomverse right now.
Well, no, but he's in San Francisco instead of New York, so we don't know. I mean, in the first movie,
plane ticket, he's fine.
Yeah, but in the first movie, we do know Eddie Brock referenced coming from New York, that he got fired there or something. Right. Yeah.
I don't know did he get fired?
I thought he got fired, or maybe just moved. Either or, we do know.
They say something like he was chased out of there.
I don't think it was Spider-Man, but who knows? I mean, we don't know that there's not a Spider-Man in the Venomverse, but we don't know that there is.
I feel like there isn't.
I feel like there isn't either, but
I just want to see. I want to see where this is going. It has to go somewhere. You can't just leave it like this.
No, I think something will come of it, though. Whether or not it comes in, No Way Home or the next Venom movie or elsewhere, and whatever Sony's doing with Spider-Man.
It's true. I mean, after original Venom, we got that great teaser at the end teasing Carnage. We had no idea at the time, will they actually make another movie?
They probably made that post-credit scene not thinking... Because, I mean, if I'm remembering right, Venom was... Everybody kind of laughed. Like, you're doing a Venom movie, no one's going to see this. Turned out to be a surprise hit. Mm-hmm, so, they wrote out that post-credit scene. And so, who knows if this one's another hit, which I'm assuming it will be, because it's very much like the first one.
Right.
I think they're going to do something with it.
I do hope going forward, we see more. I want to see a relationship between Venom and Spider-Man, because they would not be friends. Spider-Man would probably still not really get along with this Venom. Who can say? The only one who knows the answer to this is Kevin Feige, and he's not giving it up.
Yeah.
There's no way they told Tom Holland.
Oh, no. I could just see him in the theater watching this, and he's probably just as surprised as everybody else.
Hey, I was in that post-credits scene.
Hey, is that me?
What am I doing in there?
Yeah. No, you don't tell Tom Holland. You only need to know. That's Tom Holland. Need to know. That's it. That'll wrap it up for this one? Unless you got something else?
No, I don't think I have anything else.
All right, well, that's all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments. Tell us what you thought of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Tell us what you think's going to come of that post-credit scene, or mid-credit scene, I suppose, technically. Do you think that's going to play into No Way Home, or is it just for fun, or will it play into something else in the Sony Spider-Verse?
Ooh.
So until next time, thanks for watching.
Thanks.